everybody, Norma here, and this is Miss Peggy, and she's kind of at an intermediate level, so she knows her basics, but we're just kind of pushing her a little bit farther. She's right in between basic access and CGC. We're going to work on teaching your dog how to go under a chair, under a table, under your legs. A lot of the places that you take your dogs are going to be small. They're going to be tight. It's going to be kind of jammed in. Peggy's a pretty good sized dog and she's not done growing yet, so she's got to learn to get small. Doctor's offices, very, very tiny areas. Everybody's kind of crammed in there. Some restaurants where the dogs, they really just need to get as tight to your chair and as tight to you as they possibly can. So we want them to go under a chair. Come here, sweetie, look. Good girl. So they need to go under a chair and realize that this is okay. She's tall, so again, she's got to duck her head and get under there. Okay, release. And when you release them, they can come out any way you want them to. So I'm just going to show you how I would start this. And you could start this with a young puppy, older dog, it doesn't really matter. All of the techniques that we do, it really is not based on the age of the dog. So it's just where the dog is at in training. So I'm going to kind of hold her back. She's going to want to get to my cookie. Got a treat in my hand. I just want her to duck her head. So that's the first step, is just getting them to duck their head. Now she chose to lay down, which is fine. Release. But if she just stayed in a standing position, that's okay too. So I'm just going to kind of hold her back, get her to duck. So that's the whole idea, is to get the dog, when you say under, it's not only go underneath something, but they have to learn to duck their head down. Because if I just bring her up here, under, she's not going to respond to that. So right now she's kind of targeting to my hand, under. So under right now needs to mean duck your head. Okay, so technically if you brought an older dog up here and said under, the first thing you would see him do is drop his head down or look around him to see what he can actually get underneath. Now, if you're not able to get down on the floor, you can do targeting with this. You can do a target paddle or a target stick. We can work on that as well. So this would be my first step, is just getting your dog to play kind of like tunnel. It's through a chair. You have to have an open bottom chair to do this. You got to be careful that you don't have a chair that's got, stuff that's in the way underneath, crisscross supports or whatever. So we're just going to bring her all the way through. That might take a while, especially if the dog is tall like this. So the first thing is just getting them to come around and maybe through one leg. So it's just literally coming, following your treat, around. If your dog is not staying on that food quite as much, you might have, I've had dogs where they just barely stick their nose under because they're worried about the chair. That's okay. It's just a little farther, a little farther, a little farther until they squirt through. So that's under. And at some point, when the dog really gets the idea, we're going to want them to lie down. But we really want them to understand that when you put your hand down there, under, and then at some point we're just going to stop her and do your stay. Good girl. Under. Good. Good. So you want to watch, like with my hands. Let me show you here. Yeah, let's move. Okay, if you come over this way, Richard. Come here, baby. So again, we're going to put her nose right here, bring her under this way, and then I'm going to make her do her stay by don't let her be pushy. Good. Feeding. Good. Feeding. It's weight under the chair for your cookie. And then have her come through. Let's go. Good girl. Again, this movement might scare some dogs. You might just have to get the nose just underneath the chair. If you need to, you can put the cookie on the floor and tell the dog to get it. It's not as, sometimes you literally have to be like, get it, good dog, and just put cookies under there and teach them their dog food bowl. Put a couple treats in the dog food bowl and push the bowl underneath there and tell them go get it. It's just the whole idea of getting them to walk underneath something. Some dogs are a little bit goosey about it, some dogs aren't, but it's just getting them to walk underneath. For people that can't get down on the floor, and that's quite a few of us, it's not so much getting on the floor, it's getting back up. You know, most of us can fall on the floor, but then it's getting back up. You guys can use a target or a touch stick, and that's just, we use a long paint stick. It's got a piece of yellow duct tape because we want the dog to target to the yellow, and also it's easier to clean off. I have some peanut butter on this thing, and we're just gonna work on her understanding where that peanut butter is. I'm gonna click when she licks the end of the stick. And we want to move it around so she understands she has to come to it. And you're going to do it up high. Get it? You want that? Get it. Good. Come on, you can do it. Yay! Good girl. Make them reach for it. Make them even like, hello. So once you get them on the target so they understand, just follow the stick, and you're going to click every time that they lick the peanut butter. I have done both ways of teaching a dog to touch a target without food on it, or just using peanut butter as a lure, or something sticky. Anything that's sticky you can put on this. Baby food, cream cheese. I've had people use liverwurst, just enough for the dog to be really interested. There are a very rare group of dogs out there that do not like peanut butter. I think there's something wrong with them. No, I'm just kidding. But sometimes chicken baby food, turkey baby food, something like that to smear on there is fine. Again, I've done both. I've done where the food is actually on it, and I've done the whole conditioning to where the dog bumps it and we feed them afterwards. The outcome is about the same for what we're doing. So honestly, just stick some sticky food on it. And I know there's going to be some trainer out there say, well, that's not really how to use a target. It's luring, so we're just luring the dog with it. And so we're just going to, again, put this underneath the chair so she can follow. Good girl. Yay! So I don't have to get down there. I can kind of bring this up here and bring this under the chair. So my dog, you can hold the chair if you want to. Good girl, let's go. Good girl, come on. Come on, yay! She is a pretty good sized dog. There are some dogs that aren't gonna fit under a chair, but the agility tunnels are 18 to 24 inches in diameter, and most of them are 24 inches. So if a Great Dane can fit through an agility tunnel, they can fit underneath the chair. They have to work at it a little bit, but they can fit under there. So then what you can do is you sit in your chair and you can bring the stick through this way. Good girl, good girl. Good girl, good. And once they get under there, you can randomly click. Oop, I was off that time. And I'm just telling her it's okay to get the cookie. Now, please notice that I pull this up and away and then I present it. So again, if you have trouble getting the stick under there, hold on to your dog for a minute, put the stick under there, let them see it. Good girl. Good, good. Can bring the stick up, bring the stick down. Good. She's got to figure out that the longer that she stays down there, more opportunities. But right now it's just getting her underneath the chair because she's big. See how long she is? She's going to be hanging out in the middle of an aisleway, and you do not want people stepping over her, possibly stepping on her tail, none of that. So if we can get her to come under. Good girl, come on. And I don't care if she makes a mistake. Don't get too crazy about this. It's just literally, it's like, yoo-hoo. Good. There you go. Make it a game. Come on, good girl. Come on, baby. Good. Here. Good girl. Here, looky. So I'm just kind of playing with her here. Good girl. And you do want her to get underneath the chair. So again, if you need to hang onto her by the collar until you get the stick under there, good. Come on, come on. Good, come on. Good girl, come on. Come on. So I'm getting tired of the game. Come on, baby, here. Then you can go switch to your hand under, Good girl. It's just that whole thing of getting her under there is why you're using the stick. So the stick is gonna go away pretty quickly. She's now got a pretty good idea that, you know, if I hold her here and put my hand down, now she's targeting to my hand. It's just getting her underneath that position. And then I'm gonna do the same thing as we've done with the stays, where I close my hand. She waits, she gets a cookie. You see that? She waits. Good. Cookie. Good. Make it short. Release. Now, I don't care, when you say release, it doesn't matter which direction the dog comes out from underneath the chair. Some dogs like to back out, some dogs like to go all the way through. Just let them make that choice of where they want to be. So under, it's under the table, under the chair. You know, if you are going to, ever fly with your dog, you're going to have to get them to go under your legs as well. Anytime you do something new, it's 100% reward. Break it down into tiny, tiny parts. So just because we don't, have to use food to get the dog to sit anymore, anytime you teach something brand new, go back to using the food as a lure. Maybe. So there. Good. So this would be just under my legs. So I've just brought her between the chair and my legs. Good girl. Good. Good. This is pretty much what she would look like riding on a bus, a train, an airplane. They would have to be in this position, and sometimes like even putting our feet on top of them. But that's where they would ride on an airplane. That's about as much room as you're going to get. Good girl. So if you can see, I'm just holding my hand. The longer she stays down, the longer the opportunity for food reward is. So I'm just going to, counting 5 in between. Little lick or a little treat. You can use your dog food. Good job. Now, you get the dog out from under you before you try to get up. Okay, guys, you got them big long legs and you try to kind of do this thing. It can get messy. Okay, let's go. Let them get out first. And then you guys get up.